Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, friends, fellow students, His Excellency Ambassador Najib Al-Badr, Ambassador of the State of Kuwait, other representatives of the Diplomatic Corps, we are very, very honored and delighted to welcome you here for today's symposium. Today's event is being organized by two partner organizations, the ICD Academy for Cultural Diplomacy, of which I'm the founder, and also the European Organization for Intercultural Dialogue. Since I'm not sure that everyone here knows that organization, I wanted to say a few words of background about the organization, and then I'll introduce our co-host and co-moderator of the event, a member of the ICD faculty. The European Organization for Intercultural Sustainable Dialogue, EOID-AFAO, provides a common ground on which scientists from different disciplines who use systems thinking come together to conduct the dialogue between them, because systems thinking is a transdisciplinary research tool. These meetings, contained in workshops, scientific conferences, or qualitative information, can serve as a basis for the creation of internal and external policies that allow a systematic treatment of complex problems that cannot be solved by any single jurisdiction. The main concerns are terrorism, unemployment, migration, and the spiritual crisis. The EOID offers a real and realistic vision of the views and ideas of the vast majority of European and Arab societies, as well as the promotion of strengthening cultural relations between countries, in particular through the exchange of intellectual dialogue. The EOID runs the organization of conferences for German, European, and Arab scholars dealing with peace and dialogue matters in order to create a forum for dialogue between civilizations and cultures. The EIOD organizes holding of seminars, lectures, and meetings on various aspects of current issues, including politics, conflicts, philosophy, thought, and cultural issues. The founder and director has just taken her seat in front of me, Sana Ali. Sana Ali did her undergraduate degree in the German language and culture at the University of Duisburg. She then continued to do an MA in Education and Psychology at the Free University of Berlin. She has an impressive CV, so I won't go into everything, but I wanted to mention two things that caught my attention. 2014, the DAAD, the German Academic Exchange Service, elected her to represent Iraq in the German parliament on the issue of education in Iraq under the influence of terrorism, where Iraq was, at the time, fighting ISIS. She also is the founder and the head, as I said, of the European Organization for Intercultural Dialogue, the EOID. So we're very honored and proud to be working with you today on this event, which we hope will be one of many more, as ICD is also starting to emerge after the Corona time period. Many of you know since the end of 2019, it's been very difficult for us to do any event at all. So we're very happy also to be back after our COVID sleeping, to be awake again and trying to do our best to bring people together and build bridges between cultures and countries around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, since the start of Yemen's civil war between the Hadi-led Yemeni government and the Houthi armed movement in 2014, the Houthis have reportedly conscripted more than 30,000 child soldiers, who are used to plant and clear landmines, act as guards, as well as soldiers to the front lines to fight. Throughout the civil war, the Houthis made significant territorial gains and deposed the Hadi government, causing a major humanitarian crisis and the death of tens of thousands of people. The country's humanitarian crisis is said to be among the worst in the world due to widespread hunger, disease, and attacks to civilians. The conference today aims, therefore, to create a platform for various experts and stakeholders to highlight the legal, political, and economic dimensions of extremism and terrorism in the Middle East, with the focus on the Houthi militia. In particular, the conference aims to shed light on the internal dynamics and the religious, political, and territorial ambitions of the Houthi movement as an insight into ways in which we can deal with the group and to stimulate the discussions on interests and responsibilities of the international actors to confront the group. The importance of the international effort and cooperation to act against the ongoing international law and human rights violations to support the development of Yemen and to restore stability and peace to the country. Ultimately, policy analysis and recommendations for the best possible strategies for the global actors will be introduced. And as I'm reading this here, I was also thinking earlier this week, of course, about Ukraine and Russia and the many challenges that are facing us today. I was reminded of a book that usually we ask all of our students to read by the great scholar and historian Richard Arendt. Richard Arendt wrote a book called The First Resort of Kings. It's a long book. I think it's 1,000 or 1,200 pages, going over diplomacy and cultural diplomacy in many aspects. And his main point is, if you go over time, technically speaking, the last resort of kings was military conflict and war. And so he's basically flipping it around and saying, normally then, the first resort of kings should actually be diplomacy. And his book is really a testament to cultural diplomacy, the importance of cultural diplomacy. And it may seem difficult for us, especially when we have so much suffering in Yemen, human rights violations, killings, to think of soft power or cultural diplomacy. What effect can that have? But I really think there is a big opportunity for cultural diplomacy to have an impact. So I'm looking forward today to exploring with you through the discussion and through the presentations many of these issues. I wanted to also mention to you, please feel free to be also active today. We don't want to have a one-way street. So we have speakers here, we have professors, but please don't be shy, ask questions. Hopefully we don't agree on all the issues. Let's discuss, let's debate. I always say there's no stupid question, only stupid answers. So therefore the people up here have the challenge, not you. So really we're all coming from different countries, different backgrounds. Don't be afraid to ask a question, make a comment. Let's engage in debate, and I think we will all benefit from all of those exchanges. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you all to today's conference, The Legal, Political, and Economic Dimensions of Extremism, Terrorism in the Middle East, and the Implications on Regional and Global Peace and Security, Confronting the Houthi Militia with the Interests and the Responsibilities of International Actors. And I'd like to now ask to the stage my co-moderator for today's event, member of the ICD faculty, who did her PhD in political science. She's also a member of the Left Party in Berlin, and we're very grateful to your teaching and also your wonderful passion and also support of the ICD students, the faculty, and the Academy for Cultural Diplomacy. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a warm welcome for Dr. Didem Adermus. Thank you.